Okay, so what I'm enjoying to use right now, I personally think is the strongest gun. You're not getting a right string class. It's not happening. So I recommend the FFAR. Personally think it's the strongest assault rifle in the game as of right now. Works as an SMG comboed with a sniper. It's a very dynamic gun. You can use it as an assault rifle, you can use it as a sniper. This is current build that I use. I personally think this is the best. The rear grips from Black Ops, none of them do anything. Sounds like a very stupid thing to say, and sounds like a very controversial thing to say, but these have been tested. All of them have been used. They don't affect the gun in any way. They're all bugged, and they don't have any use in game for anything. It doesn't make sense for these to be in the game. They're currently all bugged. They're currently all at a point where they serve no purpose. So if you're using a rear grip, take it off. Waste of an attachment right now. I don't know if Raven Software are aware of how bugged their stuff is. Like the fact that the Task Force barrel, doesn't increase damage. It doesn't. It doesn't do anything to the gun. Excuse me. So what you're looking for in a barrel is to increase bullet velocity. These are the barrels that are the only real things that do anything. The effective damage range is having the same amount of damage from 10 meters as 30 meters, so that works. The things that don't work is the increase in damage. So in a barrel like a Task Force barrel, it doesn't work on any of the guns. It doesn't increase damage. So if it increased damage, it would take the amount of bullets to kill down. So for a gun like this, it's probably between 6 and 9 bullets to kill if you hit headshots. I'd say that's probably about right, which is why it's a very competitive gun. If it increased damage, it would take that from 6 to 9 bullets to 5 to 8 bullets, but it doesn't. It doesn't increase damage. It doesn't do anything. That doesn't make sense. So it's more important to increase the fire rate than to have a barrel that doesn't do anything. So Task Force barrel doesn't do anything. the grips on guns, patrol grip. The patrol grip is interesting. The patrol grip is one of the only attachments that does its job properly. I know I've got field agent grip on. I've been trying them out. So I recommend using patrol grip because it doesn't say it here, but it reduces recoil on the gun. So it will reduce vertical and horizontal recoil. Whereas this says that it will do that, and it doesn't do as good of a job as the patrol grip. So right now, it doesn't make sense to use anything apart from the patrol grip. And the bruiser grip is almost the same. The best two grips to use are patrol grip and bruiser grip. Don't worry about the stats of the gun. They are bugged. They're all bugged. I wouldn't stress about it. So right now I'm using this for Mac 10. I'm kind of going off the Mac 10. I think I'm just gonna try and make this into more of a hybrid SMG kind of AR that can do a bit of both. So I'll probably put this barrel on to adjust it so that it can then work as an SMG and as an AR. All these other attachments are good. The Marathon stock, you could probably argue that you could put this one on instead, the Raider stock, which I will test out and I'm going to use in solo shortly. I'm going to get rid of the Mac 10. I've been debating this for a little while. So you could use the DMR. The DMR is still strong. It's still a very good gun. Or you can use the Car 98. Personally, I'm going to use the Car 98. Oops. Hello. There we go. So, build I like to use the Car 98. We've got, why is it doing that? It's a bit difficult. No barrel, laser, sniper scope. Now, it's best to use the F-Tac Sport Cone. It adds an aim down sight speed, and that's kind of the build that you're looking for with this. You're not looking for it to snipe from a very long distance. You're just looking to get those shots off in a mid-range where you're just trying to hit a headshot, you're trying to crack armour. Because the thing is, if you don't hit a headshot, you're cracking armour every time. And then all you do is just go in with your SMG or your assault rifle and you're finishing that person off. So you can either use sleight of hand, which I found to be quite useful, especially in those last-ditch scenarios where you just need bullets, where you just need to get more bullets in, or you can go stipple grip tape, add in sprint to fire speed, and aim down sight speed. So for me, I'm going to run sleight of hand. I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. Perks wise, double time, obviously overkill. Amped for switching weapons faster, double time for moving around the map more quickly. If you don't want to move around the map as fast, or if that's not a massive thing for you, using EOD is very important. It's personal preference though. I prefer being able to move faster than being able to absorb more damage from a Semtex, because it's one of those, if someone throws a Semtex at me and then throws a second Semtex at me, I'm probably dead. I'm going to have to challenge it, but it's like, I'd rather be able to move faster than worry about damage. Heartbeat and the Thermite has become very, very strong just because C4 got nerfed and people are wanting something different than Semtex. So that's kind of a AR / SMG with sniper combo. Let's build, so we've got one of those, we've got assault rifles. Let's do an assault rifle class. So assault rifles wise, in Cold War, personally I don't think there's many good ones. The best way to go is if you want an out and out assault rifle, go to LMGs, grab a stoner. I think it's a very competitive gun with good stats, especially when you build it the right way, but it's very slow and it's an LMG. So it's an interesting one. I personally don't think it's worth it, but it's something I'm definitely going to try and grind and plunder. Okay, what else did this guy say that he wanted? Assault rifles, snipers, and SMGs. Okay. So we'll make an SMG. We'll make an SMG and an assault rifle class. SMG and sniper class, because the FFAR is kind of the only real way to go with that. So you've got a few options when it comes to SMGs. MP5 has a little bit of recoil and it feels quite slow and quite sluggish. So I recommend using either a Mac 10, a 74U, or that's kind of it. I don't really like any of the Modern Warfare SMGs. So 74U or a Mac 10. Build for Mac 10 is, I've shown agency suppressor. It's just very useful to have a silencer on this gun. I personally prefer it to anything else. I don't like any of the other muzzles. I don't really feel like they add anything. When it comes to barrels, the rifle barrel is the most effective, followed probably closely by the reinforced heavy. Again, task force barrel doesn't do anything, doesn't add any kind of, doesn't add anything to it. Oh, just make sure. Again, is my stream making any weird noises? Are we good? Just want to be sure. I'd hate it if I just said everything and nothing's been heard. to load. It's all good. Okay, lovely. So, Mac 10, use the rifled barrel, either rifled or reinforced heavy. Personally, I prefer the rifled. SAS combat stock is between Raider stock and this. The Raider stock adds more mobility, but it doesn't have as much speed when you're moving it. 53 round drum mag, don't use the speed mags. When reloading, they're bugged. They're shocking. They're shocking. Don't use the speed mags. Use the drum mags. They're not bugged on reload, and they actually end up being faster. Again, I've got a rear grip on this, and I only found out last night that the grips don't do anything. So it's one of those of what do you put on as another attachment? Do you put a laser on? Because they don't really do much, and I'm probably gonna put I'll go for a patrol grip and sprinting move speed. So that's probably your best bet with an SMG. We can come back to the 74U if people don't like the Mac 10 as much. The 74U is strong, it's just not as strong as the Mac 10, because the Mac 10 is just consistent beam at very good ranges. You can compare that with same perks, double time overkill amped. I've got Semtex and a stun on, just depends on what your play style is. If you're a little bit more passive, get a heartbeat on, you can figure where more people are before you go in. If you're kind of a run and gun person, a good example of that styles is he'll just have stuns on, throw a stun, push in, get the kills that way. I've been trying out the org, don't know how I feel about it yet, so we'll come back to that at a later date. But for right now, I think we've covered everything that kind of needs to be covered. So we'll just kind of recap. FFAR, very strong run and gun, not as good movement, good for tight spaces, clearing out a room. You can have 53 rounds in it, but it can also do a mid range because it can be built for both. So it's very strong. And then a Kar98, competitive at close range and mid range if you can hit your shots with it. So I recommend using this combination as a run and gun where you can get a knock, you can get someone weak, and it gives your team a chance to push in. Similar thing with the Mac 10, just a little bit more movement. The only thing I'd say is the Mac 10 is a good beam at distance, but you will get outbeamed by an FFAR at close range and mid range. The only way that you'll be able to combat that is with the Kar98. And that's kind of the most effective combination of those two. But personally, I would stick to the FFAR. It has a quicker time to kill than the Mac 10, so it doesn't really make sense to run the Mac 10 anymore. The only reason would be for mobility. But there's 9 other guns that have a faster time to kill than the Mac 10. Cold MP5 is just inconsistent, stoner. M16 is kind of if you fancy something different, I don't think it's worth it. DMR you can still use. AMAX if you want a modern warfare gun built like this. Again, if you're only on Cold War, then you won't have the opportunity to really have this gun grinded or leveled up, so there's not going to be as much opportunity for it. Again, I'm just trying to figure out what I like to use, and right now what I like to use is the FFAR and a Kar98, or the FFAR and potentially an SMG, but I'll say that I'm going to get ready to use stuff, no worries. I don't think there's much point of having an SMG, especially if it's a Mac 10, it just doesn't do it as much anymore. And that kind of covers everything that was asked in the Discord for right now. I'll make clips and videos of this and then post them in the Discord once I finish streaming, and I'll be able to go over more stuff as more requests come in. So yeah, that's kind of everything for improving loadouts and warm-ups and aim and movement and that kind of